Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017, and here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market fronts, Shanghai down a little bit, FTSE, CAC down a bit, DAX up a little bit, Dow up a little bit, NASDAQ down a little bit. Oil's mixed, gold got hit, down over 16 bucks. Dow closes little change. Bank stocks rose broadly on Wednesday as expectations for a June rate hike from the Federal Reserve increased. That's right, they came out today, 2 o'clock, gave their report, said, well, things look pretty good. Not great, but okay. And what we're looking at, according to market expectations for a rate hike next month, it jumped to 75% from 60%, according to Wells Fargo. So now we know the story. We've been saying it over and 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 over on Trends in the News. The higher the interest rates go, the lower goes gold. And again, gold's down today over 16 bucks. And we're looking at now possibly 3 rate hikes in 2017. Again, it's a safe haven asset in a world where you're probably going to need a safe haven someplace because the war drums keep beating and crazy people are running the show in a country near you. But again, we don't give financial advice. We suggest that gold is the ultimate safe haven asset. So we're looking at other information regarding the markets. The market services PMI reading for April hit 53.1. The ISM non-manufacturing reading was 57.5. So we're also looking again, that's over 50. Over 50 shows growth. Under 50 shows decline. The earnings season, it's been strong so far. 75% of the companies beating profit estimates and about 70% topping sales forecasts as of Friday morning. So there we have it. The Fed's pretty happy. The committee concluded that it continues to expect that with gradual adjustments in the stance of monetary policy, economic activity will expand at a moderate pace. Labor market conditions will strengthen somewhat further, and inflation will stabilize around 2% over the medium term. Oil, it was mixed. Why? Well, it was a volatile day. U.S. government data showing that while there were signs of crude glut may be receding, crude inventories remain large, with gasoline demand weakening. And again, they talk the market up and down. It's in this range that hasn't moved much over the last several months, and we don't see it going much further. Spot gold, again, down because of the Fed raising interest rates. Interesting to watch because we have to look at the big picture. And again, when you listen to the Fed language, and the world is bigger than the United States, the Federal Reserve Committee continues to expect that with gradual adjustments in the stance of monetary policy, economic activity will expand at a moderate pace. But let's look globally. Copper. Prices dropped Wednesday the most in 19 months after a jump in inventories, increased worries about an economic slowdown over there in China. So, iron ore futures fell more than 6.5% on Wednesday. So now we're going to look at China. The Caxton Market Manufacturing PMI, a key survey of Chinese economy for April, showed a greater than expected decline to 50.3, the lowest since September 2016. And remember, above 50 is growth, below 50 is decline, and they're right on that line of not going there or here. So everything is flat, and China is the world's largest consumer of copper, and they call it Dr. Copper. And they call it Dr. Copper because it's referred to as having a PhD in economics because of its ability to predict turning points in the global economy, because they use it for housing, they use it for infrastructure, they use it for commercial. Copper is used in electronics, power generation. So it's not the ultimate indicator, but it's a good indicator. And again, when you look at copper, going back to China, is a key material used in home construction, industrial manufacturing, consumer goods around the world. The Chinese government injected large amounts of loans last year in an attempt to prevent a sharp slowdown in the world's second largest economy. Quote, the stimulus is wearing off and it's starting to feed through in real prices, particularly copper and iron ore, said Dane Davis, commodities research analyst at Barclays. So there you got it. Because the Wall Street Journal today, the economy's vital signs start to flag. They talk about the weak GDP numbers that came out. They talk about inflation going a bit lower than the Fed had anticipated. Look at job numbers back last month, but again on Friday the new job numbers will come out, and that's going to be a big indicator as well. Investment managers are tempering their optimism, with 44 saying in a survey that they expect the economy to accelerate over the next 6 months, down from 55% the previous month. So, that's the economy. It's flat, it's alive, but it's not doing great. You know how we keep saying our top trend for 2017, buy and sell China? Well, another little story today. Tencent barges into world's 10 biggest firms. The Chinese giant Tencent has become Asia's biggest company in terms of stock market value. And on Wednesday, because of their stock market value, it rose 31% year to date, surpassing the U.S. financing services Wells Fargo to become the first Chinese internet company, along with the world's 10 biggest companies in terms of market value. This is just the beginning. It's going to be one after another. And talking about China, Trump's tax plan spurs concerns in China because China has tried for years to reduce business costs. Now Chinese officials and the executives worry that the tax proposal Mr. Trump announced last week will set back China's global competitiveness and spur companies to invest in America instead of China. And they have a story here about a glass company that's now the chairman saying that he cited excessive regulations and taxation as a reason for investing $1 billion to revive a former General Motors factory in Ohio rather than start a new plant in China. And it keeps on going. And these are the positives of Trump. And again, I call it like we see it. Whether or not you agree with what he's doing, it's bringing jobs back. I do agree with that. And I do agree with putting tariffs on products coming in that are being produced in slave labor nations. And staying with Trump and staying with job creation, and staying with tariffs and renegotiating lousy trade deals, Infosys plans U.S. recruiting spree after visa clampdown. Move seen as win for White House IT group to hire 10,000 Americans. Their CEO acknowledged that the hiring push came when groups such as his were under pressure to recruit more Americans. Quote, "Yes, it does coincide," he said. "I understand the visa regulations, and this is just a fact about the H-1B visas. They were paying H-1B applicants on average of $81,705 last year, but that was still lower than salaries paid by leading U.S. tech companies that rely on H-1B visas to fill the gap in their engineering ranks. Google and Microsoft each offered an average of $150,000 to the workers who applied for the visa last year." I want to put this H-1B visa into context. I've been writing about this in Trends 2000 since 1996. It's not like there's a lack of talent. There's plenty of it out there, but they're paying a lot lower wages. Again, we wrote about it in detail, and when you look at the whole scam of bringing in cheap labor, it was begun by Silicon Valley and the National Association of Manufacturers back in the late 80s when we had manufacturing, still a lot more of it in this country before Bill Clinton and the others sold us out. So again, the positives of Trump. And, you know, I hate flying anymore. Shouldn't use the word hate. It disgusts me. I'd rather not do it. I only have to fly when I have to. I don't want to go anywhere if I don't have to. Because I remember when flying was fun. Lawmakers put heat on airlines. House members tell United and rivals to treat flyers better or face new regulations. Quote, "I don't believe in regulation, but Congress will not hesitate to act," said Committee Chairman Bill Shuster, or is it Shyster, who told 4 airline representatives at the hearing, "If we don't see meaningful improvements, I can assure you that you won't like the outcome." The airlines are only copying the lousy, crappy treatment that Congress has given us when we go to Homeland Security to get felt up and patted down. We're going to get them terrorists. That old lady in a wheelchair that's 95 years old, it's all crinkled up. We got to see what's in that bag between her legs. It may be a terrorist bomb. The airlines are just replicating how disgusting this entire country's become. Schuster, Shyster. And you little lying little boys that think you know everything, we needed airline regulations. It was wonderful when they were controlled. There were strict laws in place that they had to abide by. And the way that they gained more passengers, Shyster, was through service, clown boy. And we had 150 airlines, moron, when we had strict regulations, wanker. But you're against regulations. Why don't you grow up, Junior, and represent we the people and get off your high horse? I'll tell you why. Because you're a jerk just like the rest of them. Oh, and talking about jerks just like the rest of them and screwing our transportation system, look what's going on. Day after day, place after place, our infrastructure is rotting down, nightmare commute, power problems, strand subway riders, create major delays, traffic jam at nation's crossroads, Chicago's densely populated neighborhoods, grinding local politics, and a host of infrastructure issues have created some of the worst rail backlogs in the country. Power failure at one station solves subways far and wide. No, you don't need regulations. You don't have to give anything to we the little people. Oh, here's one. 6 million riders a day, 1930s technology in the New York subway system. 1930s technology and a 2-year-old mind from all the morons that you elect that destroy the system. Who will fix Penn Station? How about the morons that destroyed it? Look what Penn Station looks like now. And look what it used to look like. Morons. New repairs loom at Penn Station. Amtrak warns of big disruptions. Repairs ramp up. Commuters groan as Amtrak plans for 44 days of Penn Station repairs. Lawsuits claim city subway system discriminates against disabled riders. It discriminates against human beings because the little clown boys don't ride these things. It's a neo-feudal society. Go down to the west side, one helicopter coming in after the other. They jet their helicopter and we sweat. But, hey, how about this? Central and Eastern Europe. Investment on track to beat record. Platform for growth commuters on a recently opened subway line in Warsaw, Poland. Yeah, that outshines anything in the United States. Why? You know why? I love Trump. Not because of what he does. He's the perfect person to show how disgusting the whole system is. The other clowns just knew how to act better and read the teleprompter and stay on cue and cover up with a criminal organization run by psychopaths and sociopaths. But Trump, man, he's just Mr. Twitter. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.